It is the sound of Mark Anthony and Monster here on Curveballs on Phoenix FM. And Mark Anthony joins me in the studio now. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Hey, you okay?
I am good, thank you.
Good.
It is nice to be here and have someone at the other end of the studio to talk to.
Yeah, because, what can I say? In the pandemic and stuff, I imagine you would have just been here by yourself, perhaps speaking to people remotely through the phone or whatever,
indeed.
you know. And I think as a nation, everyone is probably sick of Zoom and Teams and all kinds of online stuff. I think it would just be nice for everyone. Well, I know it would be nice for everyone just to get that human interaction again.
Absolutely, absolutely, and not buffering when we talk.
Yeah, exactly, and not hearing, are you on mute? And yeah, all kinds of stuff. But yeah,
are you still there?
Yeah. But no, it's good to be here. It's good to be here because even a lot of the interviews I've been involved in with, various stuff, a lot of them have been on the phone. So it's just nice to have that human interaction and be back at Phoenix.
It is indeed great to have you back, matey.
Yeah,
you were last with us in February 2020.
Yeah.
Just before it all went wrong.
Yes. So we were just saying off air. So I came on here February 2020 to announce and promote the Lyrical Strangers album, and I announced the fact that the album was going to be out at the end of March, and then by the end of March it was locked down.
Yes.
So any plans of shows or anything we had was just, so yeah, don't know if it was the best time to release an album, but we wouldn't have known, we wouldn't have known. So but it's been all right. Been getting on with it.
Indeed, you have kept yourself very busy, as we will find out.
Okay.
Over the course of the evening. But first of all, we need to talk about who is Mark Anthony. You've been, how long is it you've been kicking around and making music?
Wow. Making music, oh God. Got me thinking now, that's immediately going to make me sound really old. Probably about sort of 15 years. So my first group was the Meds Collective with some friends that I knew from, when I was really, really young. And that was from about sort of 2009 to 2014, 2015. And that was great. It was, just sort of three guys just sort of writing, recording, touring everywhere, mainly around Europe. So that was really, really fun. And then, it took a year out or so, and then released my first solo album in 2016, which was Reckless Caution, which I believe, again, you were kind enough to have me on the show to promote. Yeah. And since then, just been trying to keep busy with various music projects, and here I am with my second solo album, A History of the Future in Music.
I'm glad you said that, because if I was going to mention the title in the run up to it, but I'm like, no, I'm going to say it wrong.
Bit of a mouthful, yeah. But A History of the Future in Music is the album, which comes out on September the 17th. So really looking forward to bringing that out.
Excellent, good stuff. And we are going to be hearing some tracks from it over the course of the evening.
Yeah.
In fact, you know what? Let's listen to another one right now. Yeah. Which one should we listen to next?
Let's listen to Funk, which is one of my favourite tracks on the album.
Righto. And, well, we're all going to get our funk on then. Mark Anthony and Funk here on Curveballs on Phoenix FM from the album A History of the Future in Music. So when was the album recorded, Mark?
So the album was recorded a long, long time ago. So in March and April 2019, we recorded the Lyrical Strangers album. And then at the end of April 2019, I was lucky enough to go on a trip to the Caribbean for 2 weeks. And for whatever reason, I thought, I'm just going to write an album whilst out there. So I was lucky enough to go to 4 islands in the Caribbean, which were Dominica, St. Vincent, St. Lucia and Barbados. And I wrote an album out there. So it was purely based on observations, feelings at the time, etc. And then came back from the Caribbean early May 2019 and just spent a month recording the album. But I was then doing a lot of promotion with Lyrical Strangers, where we were promoting the album Brand New Day, although we couldn't do any shows for obvious reasons.
Indeed.
Yeah, and then when that kind of chapter ended, not the band, just promotion for that album,
Yeah.
I then got involved in another project called Neither Silence, and we recorded an album called Urban Tales, and we released a few songs from there. And it was actually at the beginning of this year, I thought to myself, that stuff I recorded back in 2019, that I remember thinking was really good, I'd like to put out. So I contacted the producer and I said to him, it'd be really good to put out. So he just said, he was happy with it, put it out when you're ready. And then there and then, it was in January, I remember sort of walking around St Albans. I thought, well, I'm probably going to put it out in September, start promoting it in June, so it's a bit of a summer album. So it was actually recorded a long time ago, but it's just been sitting there for 2 years because I was just involved in so much other stuff. Yeah.
Does it feel like a bit of a blast from the past when you listen back to it?
Oh, definitely. So about 3 or 4 months ago, I went to a recording studio in Birmingham, and just to get it sort of mastered and a few finishing touches with a producer called Sam Stringer. Plug, he's a brilliant producer. And it was the first time I'd heard it in a while through the loudspeakers. He'd put some magic to it. And again, because I've got such a bad memory, I forgot about so much of the songs, and I came out of there buzzing, thinking, I really want to put this album out, because I was really happy with the songs and the vocal performance on it and the production. The original producer who worked on it, his name's Marco. He did an absolutely excellent job, in my opinion, of the album. So it really, really was a blast from the past, and some of them I just couldn't remember full stop, if I'm being honest.
Did it feel like listening to someone else?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I remember, where are we now? June? Yeah, I think it was sort of around March time, being in this studio in Birmingham for the day, and then when all this stuff came out, when all the music was being played, some of it was familiar, some of it I was just thinking, how did I write that? I just couldn't remember. I just couldn't put myself in that mindset because I was in a totally different place. It was a couple of years ago. I wrote it in the Caribbean. So it's something that probably couldn't be replicated because I'll, write about my feelings there and then, as I always kind of do. But yeah, it definitely was, to an extent, like I was listening to someone else, because I just couldn't remember writing it, if I'm being honest. I couldn't remember writing some songs from the album.
Blimey. So yeah, that must be really must be quite a surreal experience. But
it was, and especially with the fact that coronavirus or the pandemic didn't have a single influence on the album, because it was before any of that. Because I've been asked a few times, did you have the pandemic as a bit of an influence for the album, or was it you recording whilst the pandemic was on? And I was recording whilst the pandemic was on, but not that album. This was recorded a long time before that. So a real weird blast from the past.
Yeah, it's like a bygone era, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. So I know it's obviously new to everyone else, and to an extent, when I first had it all put together about 3 months ago, it was even kind of new to me to an extent. But yeah, it was recorded a while ago.
Excellent. Well, you've got a couple of musical choices, and shall we go back to something a bit more Caribbean flavoured?
Yeah, go on.
Yes, with a bit of Aswad and Shine, I think was requested.
Yeah. So the reason I chose that song is probably because of a bit of a nostalgic reason, because I remember when it came out in 94, I think it was, or 95. And I just think it's 94, and I think it's just a positive song. Yeah, just a bit of a song to lift us up from our little lives.
And here it is doing just that. Aswad here on Curveballs on Phoenix FM, and a song that isn't Don't Turn Around, I mean Shine. And it was chosen by my studio guest tonight, Mark Anthony, bringing back some vibes of your trip to the Caribbean, which inspired a history of the future in music.
That's correct.
It's excellent. So we'll be hearing another track from that in a moment. So Was it so it was mainly sort of like influenced by your trip to the Caribbean? Were there other musical influences there as well?
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, the basis of the album in terms of the lyrical content and the narratives for the songs were based on my trip to the Caribbean, be it just observations I'd see just on a beach or on the balcony in the hotel I was staying in or whatever. Or, you know, perhaps what was going on at the time, just, you know, in my life, etc., or in society. But in terms of musical influences, I've always been really known for having such an eclectic taste in music. And, you know, me being me, rightly or wrongly, I've never ever wanted to create an album with 12 or 13 fast songs or 12 or 13 slow songs or medium songs. I like, you know, I like a mixture. That's just me. Yeah, and similar to Reckless Caution, I wanted the genres of the songs to all be a little bit different as well, you know, in terms of, you know, different sort of vibes. So you've got a track called Monster that we played earlier that's, you know, maybe a little bit more kind of like dancey, a little bit more serious. Then you've got Funk, which is light-hearted and is influenced by funk music. And then you've got other tracks on there, like a track called Stella, which is very saxophone heavy. So yeah, I think all of my different musical tastes and influences definitely make up the album, as it did with Reckless Caution. You know, Reckless Caution had a ballad on there called I Still Miss You, which was a piano ballad about someone that passed away at the time. And then there was another song called Scar Train, which was just a silly ska song where, you know, I had bands in mind like the Selector, the Specials and Madness. So yeah, definitely draws in different influences.
Excellent, good stuff. Well, with that in mind, what on earth could we be listening to from the album next? What track should we have?
It's a Wonder. Let's listen to It's a Wonder, which is just a semi-deep song just about life and, you know, what's life about? That's the kind of message in the song. What is life about?
The meaning of life could well be in there somewhere.
The meaning of life, that's actually a better definition. The meaning of life, that's the definition of the song.
All in this track by Mark Anthony, coming up next. Mark Anthony, and from the album A History of the Future of Music, that track was entitled It's a Wonder.
Yeah.
So where will people be able to get their hands on the album, Mark?
All of the main digital streaming sites, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon, and via my website at markanthonymusic.net. But yeah, it's available on all of the streaming sites from the 17th of September, but it's available now to pre-order on iTunes. So yeah, it's a really, really good album. I don't often kind of say that about my own music because it sounds a bit self-righteous, but I'm really, really proud of the album. And yeah, I just hope people buy it and like it. And I'm proud of it. I'm really, really proud of it. It was a good process making it. Yeah, as I said, it was really interesting. And I didn't know exactly when or if it was going to be released as such because, you know, we'd recorded the Lyrical Strangers album and the Lyrical Strangers album hadn't even been put out yet, you know, so it was just something that was going to kind of stay on the shelf until as and when, you know, it was suitable to release, which for whatever reason I've kind of decided is now. So yeah, just thought I'd release something a bit funky for the summer.
Excellent, good stuff. Good stuff, and we can't have good music sitting around on the shelf like that. One thing we also need to talk about is the album cover. What inspired it? Was it the Spider Baby in Toy Story?
No, so I can't actually take credit for that. So there is a really, really good graphic designer called Iniko Toth, and she designed the album cover for Reckless Caution, which I was really, really happy with. And then I contacted her and I said to her a few months back that I want to release this album, have it ready for the 17th of June when I'm going to start promoting it ahead of the release on the 17th of September. And I gave her just a bit of a rough idea about the sort of things that I was thinking, which, if I'm being honest, ideas were quite vague. And then Nico just started throwing all these ideas at me, to the extent I said, listen, it sounds great, have a mess around with it, you know. And then she, over the next week or two, she just sent me lots of ideas, and she wanted to make it a little bit futuristic. So yeah, there was a picture of me with my head on a kind of robot, and I just thought, oh, that's really, really cool, and I liked it, but I can't say that it was all me. You know, it was more Anika, but she wanted to make it really futuristic, and I was just happy with the the design of the album cover.
Once I'd seen it and I reminded myself I'm not scared of spiders, then yes.
Yeah.
But hey, credit to her.
Yeah, a lot of credit to her. I just thought it was a good album cover that kind of stood out a bit, and people would look at it and think, oh, that's a bit weird. And I thought, well, at least it'll get people kind of looking twice and talking about it.
This is very true, actually, yes.
Yeah, so went with it.
Excellent, good stuff. We are going to hear a couple more tracks from the album, but first we're going to hear your next musical selection. Now, I know, listeners, that I said this show is mostly football free. However, I am entertaining just this once.
Yes.
And well, this song's like 30 years old now. I remember it being in the charts. So
yeah. So without running the risk of ruining Nick's formula for the show, but yeah, obviously, you know, everyone's a bit football crazy at the moment about, you know, with the Euros and stuff. And again, probably a bit of nostalgia in there for me. You know, whilst I was growing up, I remember Italia '90. You know, and I remember watching every game and following England and stuff. So I just thought, why not World in Motion?
And John Barnes was the nation's biggest rap star at one point.
Yeah. I mean, I remember even when he was playing for Liverpool at the same time we're playing for England, and, you know, they released a few songs like the Anfield rap and stuff. And yeah, he was at the forefront, you know, giving it some large, you know, giving it some good raps and stuff. So I that was just my choice.
Indeed. Youngsters, this is what came before the Deal Skinner and the Lightning Seeds.
Yep.
Well, we might not have open-top bus parades coming up anytime soon, but you know what? I reckon making the final is still pretty good. That's all we'll say on the matter. I am not a pundit by any stretch of the imagination, but that's my opinion I'm standing by. That was England's New Order, as they were known, back in 1990. We were commenting, it's probably the most 1990 song ever.
Yeah.
And before 3 lines on a shirt, Jules Rimet still gleaming, there was 3 lines on my chest, I know we can't be wrong.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, even listening to the song now brings back memories of following Italia '90, and yeah, just the era back then. Yeah, it was really kind of nostalgic.
Indeed, and everyone trying to sing like Luciano Pavarotti.
Yes, oh yeah. God, I remember that. Yeah. God, you're going back now. Yeah.
Yes. I remember it first time around. We're from pretty much the same era, so yeah. So yeah, but hey, let's not spend too much time thinking about 1990. Let's get back to the present day. I am joined in the studio tonight by Mark Anthony, chatting about his album, A History in the Future of Music.
Yeah.
That's right, isn't it?
History of the Future of Music. Yeah. Sorry, I just had to say it again just to kind of double check. But yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Excellent. I think I might have got in and of round the wrong way, but still.
Fair enough.
So yes, you've got. So that's coming out. What time in September? Sorry.
So it's on the 17th of September, Friday the 17th of September. It's coming out, and in the run up to the album release, there'll be bits and pieces released in the run up. You know, various singles and other bits and pieces. So you know, so by the time the album comes out, people that want to follow, you know, my music will have a bit of a flavour of, you know, some of the tracks that will be on the album and the kind of album it is. But yeah, really looking forward to putting this one out. Really looking forward to it. I was listening for the first time in many years to my first solo album, Reckless Caution, about a month ago, and then I kind of listened to this album at the back of it, and it's quite different. Yeah, it's two sort of different albums, which I kind of wanted, you know, because I remember saying, I've said to you before on sort of other shows, every music or every album that I released, or even, you know, singles, I try and always make it different from you know, from before, and not because of the fact that I think, oh, I don't want an album sounding like that because I didn't like it. It's just for the fact I just want to keep it interesting, you know. So.
Do you notice the difference musically, or kind of what you sing about, or
definitely, because it always reminds me of the music I was listening to at the time. So Reckless Caution was recorded in 2015. It was released in 2016, And yeah, the influences on there, range from people like, I don't know, even like the Selector, Madness, with a song called Scar Train. I was listening to even a lot of Blur. I mean, it was essentially, yes, the album is kind of hip hop based, but I remember recording and putting out a song called London City, which was very influenced by a track called London Loves by Blur. It reminds me of the music I was pretty much into at the time. And then I think the ethos of recording this album was, making an album that kind of stood up or was even better than Reckless Caution, but just making it a bit more current to kind of what I'm listening to now. So it's definitely kind of like a musical diary of my music influences at the time.
Excellent,
If that
good
makes
stuff.
sense. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I suppose what we should ask is, do you have any more musical projects on the horizon? Because you just seem to fall into them.
Yeah, there's a few things in the background, but the main two other projects, Lyrical Strangers and Neither Silence, I can say that we are, because it's not just me, we are working on new music as we speak. So the Lyrical Strangers album is, the second album is probably about 2/3 of the way done. And I'm, at the moment, we are writing a Neither Silence album as well. So predicting Lyrical Strangers album may come out towards the end of this year, if not early next year. And Neither Silence, perhaps spring going into summer. But they're the main two things that will definitely be putting out sort of new music. But there's a couple of other things in the background as well that I'm hoping to just kind of like get together and stuff, that are mainly kind of album projects. But that's all I can say at the moment.
You see, I said earlier, listeners, the man's a machine. I was right.
Oh, what? I love that compliment. But yeah, I think it's basically just me being in the studio. I mean, during the pandemic, obviously people couldn't perform live, and there was a lot of things that musicians couldn't do, and I just decided to just bury myself in my studio. And all I was doing throughout the pandemic was, most days I'd be in the studio writing and recording. So once you kind of get into a routine of doing that, it's quite I felt quite lucky to be able to do that, because not a lot of people weren't able to work, and obviously there's a lot more essential jobs than kind of being a musician. But yeah, basically I was just in the studio just writing, recording, and was lucky enough to work with loads and loads of people, remotely, and put out good music and feature on a lot of different songs and tracks with other artists, which was good, which was really, really enjoyable. And I think probably, perhaps like most musicians, once everything does open up and people perform live again, it's just remembering the magic that's connected with that, and getting the live music talents all together again, and just getting your headspace more kind of into the live music again, which will be really interesting. Nerve-wracking for a lot of people, I expect, because a lot of people haven't done it for so long, but including myself. But yeah, it'll be really nice to just have that again.
Absolutely. So we have two more tracks to listen to from the album. Which one are we going to listen to?
We're going to listen to Robots. So yeah, Robots. This was a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek song. So I was in the Caribbean. I don't want people to think that I've got some rich holiday home out there. This was just a one-off trip to the Caribbean, in case people get it twisted and think I've got some holiday home there and I'm there all the time. That's not the case. Pretty much in London. But I was in the Caribbean, and I was on a beach, just sort of looking out, taking in the atmosphere, and it just felt like everyone around me was on their phones, and and everyone around me was either relaxing, they were on their phones, or walking around on their phones. And I guess in society, especially London, England, we are all we're all kind of guilty of it to an extent. We're all controlled by our screen addiction, and this was just a song about that, and just to try and appreciate being away from the screen for a while and just looking around you and interacting with people personally.
Here it is. That's right, listeners. We judge you when you sit there looking at your phone.
Yeah, as I said, it was a real tongue-in-cheek song. Yeah, I was just in a situation where I was just embracing I was lucky enough to embrace the atmosphere of the beach and the sunset and the sea, and I was kind of fell in love with my surroundings. And everyone around me was on their phones, whether they were sitting down, walking, and I remember just thinking, everyone needs to embrace what's around them. Yeah, and then I just wrote a tongue-in-cheek song about it. Yeah, and it's funny when I sort of travel sort of to and from St Albans and listening to this album just to kind of learn it really, and when this song comes on, either I'm on my phone and I think, this is me, or you're walking past people and I almost want to kind of have a hidden camera to film a music video, because you're walking past people and everyone has just got their face down on their phones.
You've got time to do that before the album's out in September.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think, God, I should have a hidden camera, like, I don't know, in my sort of like hat or something to film this. It'll be brilliant. But yeah, that was Robots, and it was one of the songs I forgot all about until I listened to it in March this year when I was in Birmingham, when the final touches had been put to the album, and I thought, I quite like that song. So yeah, that was Robots.
Excellent, good stuff. We are going to finish off with one more song from the album.
Yeah.
Which is Political Games.
Yes.
Now, obviously, we aren't a political show.
That's right. Yeah.
But before we play that, just remind us where people can go, where and when people will be able to get their hands on the album.
Okay, so the album will be available on all main streaming sites, including Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, Apple Music, from the 17th of September. But it is available for pre-order now from iTunes or through my website at markanthonymusic.net. But the official release is on the 17th of September. And up until then, there'll be various bits and pieces released in the run-up to that, which will be a surprise until it comes out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And remember, it's Mark with a K, not Mark with a C.
That's right, yeah.
That's a completely different performer.
Yeah, I am not... I have not been married to J-Lo, so I'm very much from Finsbury Park in London. I'm not Latin or wherever he's from.
Yeah, I think we've worked that out anyway, and it kind of works in your favour that you.
Well, I wasn't sure if my accent gave it away, but yeah, I'm not a Latin American. I'm very much from N4, Finsbury Park in London, born and bred.
Excellent. Well, we're very much looking forward to hearing that album.
Thank you.
And yes, well, good luck with the promotion for the rest of it, and writing for all the other things that you've got going on as well.
Just trying to keep busy, yeah.
Indeed.
Just trying to keep busy. But yeah. I have to thank you for the support you personally have given me throughout my little journey, because the first album I released in 2016, Plug, you were really kind enough to have me on the show, and then Lyrical Strangers, you were kind enough to have me on the show. Neither Silence, Boris put a stop to me coming on the show, but here I am again. So yeah, genuine thank you to yourself, the station, and whoever's listening.
Oh, you're more than welcome, Matty. If there's anyone else you'd like to give a shout out to, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to a guy called Marco, who I know is listening. So he produced the History of the Future in Music album. Great producer. I want to give a shout out to Panos, who's my partner in crime in Neither Silence, and we are writing more music to be released as and when. And Phil Chamberlain, who is my partner in crime with Lyrical Strangers, and just other people who I've been lucky enough to work with, and friends, family. Yeah, I sound like I'm at the Oscars or something now, don't I? But no, just anyone. Just people who are positive and show support. So thank you very much.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, very best of luck with the album release and
Thank you.
with all that other stuff that you're working on.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've probably got your next solo album mostly written, haven't you?
No comment.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, just keep him busy. Just keep him busy.
Oh, well, I'm sure we will be seeing you here on the show again very soon.
Yeah.
And yes, and everything, and amongst everything else that's going to be happening. The future very much starts here. Mark Anthony, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
MarkAnthonyMusic.net is the place to go. The album is out on September the 17th.
That's correct. Yeah.
And it's called A History of the Future in Music.
Yeah.
Got it right.
Spot on. Spot on.
And this track from it is, which we're going to finish off tonight, is Political Games.
Yeah.